Welcome students to online edu classes. Here we are going to read the chapter 2 Federalism of class 10th Political Science. After this video, children, you will know the meaning of federalism and its features. Evaluate reasons behind success of federalism in India. Familiarize about two kinds of routes through which federations can be formed. So, let us understand the meaning of federalism. Definition of federalism is a system of government in which power is divided between a central authority and various constituent units of the country. There are two forms of government. One is federal form of government. In a federal form of government, there are two or more levels of government, means central level of the government, state level of the government, or territorial government, provincial government, etc. Different tiers govern the same citizen but has its own jurisdiction in specific matters of legislation, taxation, and administration. Now, what is the meaning of jurisdiction? Jurisdiction means the area over which someone has legal authority. Their existence is constitutionally guaranteed. So, the level of the governments, their center level, state level, or community level, or you can say provincial level, or local self-government like in India, their existence is constitutionally guaranteed. It is written in the constitution. So, some of the examples of federal form of government are India, USA, Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, Germany, Mexico, etc. Now the second form of government is the unitary form. As the name suggests, unitary, unit, which means single. So here only one level of government, which is called as central government, and other units of the government, other units are subordinate to the central government. A center can pass orders to the local government. Some of the examples are United Kingdom, Sri Lanka, France, Japan, and Saudi Arabia. Let us understand the features of federalism, the key features of federalism. In a federalism, it has two or more levels of government. Like in India, we have central government, state government, and the local self-government. Local self-government in rural areas, we have panchayats, in urban area, municipalities. Each level has its own power and jurisdiction. Jurisdiction is specified, it is clearly laid down by the constitution, and there is constitutional guarantee of authority, means their powers, their limits are written in the constitution. Constitutional provisions can be changed only with the consent of both the levels of government, means not a single house can take decision unilaterally. The parliament cannot on its own change this power sharing arrangement. Any change to it has to be first passed by both the houses of parliament with at least 2/3 majority. Court interprets the constitution and powers of different levels of government. Supreme Court is the umpire if disputes arise with different levels of government. So, the judiciary oversees the implementation of constitutional provisions and procedures. Sources of revenue are clearly specified, which means that sources of revenue for each level of government are clearly specified to ensure its financial autonomy. So, the objective of federalism. The federalism serves two dual objectives. First, to safeguard and promote the unity of the country. Second, to accommodate regional diversity. Two crucial aspects of an ideal federalism. Government at different levels should agree at some rules of power sharing. Trust and agreement to live together must be there. Now, let us discuss about the two roots of federalism. First, coming together federation. It is a federation in which several independent states come together on their own to form a bigger unit, so that by pooling sovereignty and retaining identity, they can increase their security. In this form, all constituent states usually have equal powers and are strong in the federation. Some of the examples are USA, Switzerland, and Australia. Next is holding together federation. It is a federation in which a large country like India decides to divide its power between the constitutional states and the national government. Here, the central government tends to be more powerful than states. Constituent units have unequal power. Some units are granted special power. India, Spain, and Belgium are some of the examples. Now, let us apply federalism in Indian context. What are various features which are making India a federal country? India had emerged as an independent nation after a painful and bloody partition. Soon after independence, several princely states became a part of the country. The constitution declared India as a union of states. The Indian Union is based, as you know, the principle of holding together federation, that is, the union to the unit rather than from the units to the union. Our constitution says that India shall be a union of states. So, it is basically a federal system with striking unitary features. Hence, it is also called a quasi-federal. Therefore, constitution clearly provides a threefold distribution of legislative powers between the union government and the state government. The constitution originally provided for a two-tier system of government. The union government representing the Union of India and the state government representing the states. Later, the third tier of federalism was added in the form of panchayat and municipalities. Threefold distribution of legislative powers under union list, state list, and concurrent list. All Indian states in the Indian unit do not have identical powers. Example, union territories. The central government has special powers in running these territories. The parliament cannot on its own change this arrangement. Any change to it has to be first passed by both the House of Parliament with at least 2/3 of majority. Then it has to be ratified by the legislatures of at least half of the total states. The judiciary plays an important role in overseeing the implementation of constitutional provisions and procedures. In case of any disputes about the division of powers, the High Court and the Supreme Court make a decision. The union government and the state governments have the power to raise resources by levying taxes in order to carry on the government and the responsibility assigned to each of them. Under the threefold distribution, there are union list, state list, and concurrent list. Under union list, it includes 97 subjects of national importance. The central government alone can make decisions on these matters, such as defense, banking, currency, foreign affairs, communication, railways, etc. Now, let us discuss about the state list. The state list or list 2 is a list of 61 items. Initially, there were 66 items in the list in the 7th schedule of the Constitution of India. It includes matters of state level importance. The state government alone can make decisions on these areas. They include matters such as police, irrigation, agriculture, commerce, etc. Now, the concurrent list. The concurrent list has a list of 52 items, though the last item is numbered 47, given in the 7th schedule of the Constitution of India. It includes those subjects which are common interest to both the central and state governments. Both the center and state can make laws. In case of conflicts, the laws made by central government prevails. The subjects are education, forest, adoption and succession, marriage, trade unions, etc. Under the residuary powers, the list which contains subjects that do not covers under union list, state list or concurrent list. These subjects came after the Indian Constitution was made, so it was not added in any of the initial list. The Union government has the power to legislate these subjects. Example, computer software. Thank you for being with us. In the next video, we'll discuss about how federalism is practiced in India and decentralization of power. Till then, bye bye.